Welcome to the MMA podcast for the cannabis community. Roll one, pack one, or get your rigs ready. It's time for the main event, Blunts and Bruises.
All right, welcome to Blunts and Bruises, episode 2. It's your boy Rob from CLTV and the Gromy Tyson from the land down under. We appreciate you being here. I don't know why my blunt's not lit.
Yeah, I think you probably right. You got to start the show on the right foot.
Yeah, man. So how about that fucking card? I definitely was impressed, man. I'm one of the people who saw the lower level names to a lot of people and just knew it had potential to be fireworks. Definitely impressed.
Yeah, it was a good card, top to bottom. I think performances. Whether some of the fights didn't live up to expectation, performances obviously did. Like it was a good card all around. I reckon.
No, starting off early, man. Like, let's go over some of these fights because I mean there were some fucking really good ones. There were some people who really stood out. Like starting off in the Fight Pass prelims, man. And actually, hold on, before we get too further, quick plug to the sponsors. This one is by 420 Growers Club. Make sure you check it out if you want to learn how to grow your own cannabis. Don't know why you haven't already checked it out. 420growersclub.com. We'll have that pinned to the comment on YouTube. Otherwise, it'll be in the description on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you're listening. But yeah, so the Fight Pass prelims, man. Open that one up for us.
Yeah. I reckon, the first fight was a little bit slow, but it started the card off. I think Marquez got the win. But Big Juan Espino, I was impressed with him. Scarf hold or neck, however you wanted to call it, neck crank, whatever it was. But I was just glad to see him out there fighting, to be honest with you. I don't know if you've seen him in the Ultimate Fighter 28.
Oh, yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, see? That was 2 years ago he won that now and hasn't fought since. I think he had a couple of injuries and then a fight cancellation. And he's 40, and the problem is now he's 40, big yarn, so I don't know how far he'll go. But it was just good to see him get in there, have a fight, get a win, clock up the win. Hughes, was pretty disappointing. He's lost a few now, Hughes. I think he's probably on the chopping block. But yeah, I just liked one in that Ultimate Fighter 28 series where he copped a fair bit of shit from Mo Green and a few of these blokes.
Yeah,
so good to see him get in the UFC, notch up a win and... Yeah, it was good.
You know what? I think he's one of those guys who, like, age may not define him. It may not be one of those deals where, like, he's a fighter who's past his prime. Because if he doesn't have a lot of miles on his body for a fighter, hasn't had a lot of these wars and these battles, may have some injuries that come up. But, I mean, I even deal with a torn MCL in the past and fucking right now dealing with a torn meniscus, which is a little irritating. And I don't have a bunch of miles on me as a fighter. I'm fucking 29 years old and just did amateur little nothing stuff. So I think that he potentially, if he can, God forbid nothing happens, he could potentially do a little bit still in the UFC at that age. I mean, you look at Couture, he started late in his whole career.
Yeah. No, the thing is, he doesn't have a hell of a lot of miles on his leg. I think he's only got 10 MMA fights now. He and the UFC heavyweight, or heavyweights in general, seem to age isn't so much of a factor. Quite not like that, but they seem to hang on a little bit longer because it's more of a power than speed, I suppose. So they just seem to hang around a little bit longer. So, hopefully he's still got a few fights left in front of him. He's not going to be a title contender or anything like that, I don't see. But
somebody to
hopefully
watch,
some
man.
exciting fights.
Fun to watch.
Yeah, move himself further up the card and,
Yeah, dude, so the prelims were pretty
solid
else? Too. Like, myself, man, I kind of want to just jump to Young, dude. Young and Klein, that was good. That was impressive. I was very impressed with that, dude. To be able to come in really short notice and to be able to, I'd have to say, no matter who you're fighting, if you're the person who's already been scheduled or if you get brought in, both fighters really have a disadvantage in the sense that you don't really know your opponent. You haven't been training for that specific opponent, and you may not be ready for it. And if you're somebody like myself or the Diaz brothers or O'Malley, you probably were smoking a little bit of herb before then, so you got to worry about getting clean, making weight, doing all these other things that aren't about the strategy. So to see a victory like that, man, super impressive.
Yeah, no, it was impressive. I was messaging him before the fight, and I didn't want to tip against Young, but I'd seen that Klein had 3 head kick KOs out of his last 5 wins or something like that, and there was a little bit of talk about he was fairly impressive on his feet, and so I had to tip him. But that's the thing too. On short notice, I know there was a bit of criticism about him not making weight, but if he full fight camp doesn't make weight, fair enough, I get that. But he took that fight on short notice, so a little bit of leeway probably goes there. And like you say, when you take it on short notice, you've only got that. I think that was really
Yeah,
short
that
notice
was like
too. Like we were only
a
talking
week,
about who he was going to fight.
maybe
Yeah,
5 days.
So to perform like that,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. To perform like that with that short a notice, and that's the thing. I know everyone's criticising him not making weight, but yeah, sometimes when you take a fight in 5 days' notice, it is what it is,
Yeah,
isn't it?
dude. I mean, and that's the thing is the weight cuts and how things are now is a little bit more strict than it used to be. So you see a lot more fighters who do make weight, but now with the restrictions, some fighters I do feel like fight outside of their weight, so they do need that full camp to be able to make weight in that division that they're trying to be in. I don't see that being an advantage going forward as the restrictions get higher and higher. Like, what's the advantage of depleting yourself and being tired and losing water leading up to a fight? So I think more and more fighters are going to realize not to
Especially,
do that.
well, I think in that the perfect, situation is that where a fella takes a fight on short notice. Why don't the UFC just make that a
Yeah,
catchweight bout? Why not just say, let's make 150 pounds? Both years don't have to, Young doesn't have to go through the effort of making weight. And then I think I think Adesanya's kind of right. There needs to be a heavier penalty if you've got a full camp and you don't make
yeah,
weight. Every 20% every pound you don't make. At least that way, because the problem you've got is, I get where the issue is where he didn't 90 minutes. He weighed in 90 minutes before the fight. Weighed in was 150 and said, "I'm not going to make weight," and didn't want to cut anymore. So if you penalise a fighter by percentage per pound, maybe he's going to push a bit harder. So if it was 20% per pound and he's 5 pounds over, he's not going to get paid for the fight. So you've got to go back in, drop another 3 pounds if you've got to. All right, you lose 40% of your purse, but you're still fighting for something. And then, that's the only advantage I think someone gets by not cutting weight is, just that depletion kind of thing. So if you push, you force them to push themselves to cut some weight. But that's where the UFC, I think, is piss poor too. Like Bellator is good at that, where if someone takes a fight on short notice, we'll just make it a catchweight bout. It's
yeah.
150 pound. It's not a title fight. There's nothing on
I
the line.
totally agree, man. Just
Let's
make it a
just
fucking
make it
fight.
fair for
People
both.
could have
Yeah.
a good, entertaining match to watch because things didn't work out how they initially were scheduled. Completely agree, man. Speaking of like
Yeah.
weights being a
Yeah,
better
exactly
advantage,
right.
Jake Matthews, perfect example. I think at welterweight, dude's a fucking stud, man. Like his body is in such a better, healthy state that he can go a full 3 rounds going all the way. I mean, balls to the wall, not like puttering. I feel like a lot of his fights he holds back a little bit. And Diaz, stoned, obviously, bloods and bruises. Diego is tough, man. Sanchez is fucking tough. I thought he was gonna be out of there a few times, honestly, but for Matthews to be able to go as hard as he did, it did become somewhat of a war. I think that shows a lot to the weight cut difference. When you're not cutting weight to try to be, lightweight fighter, somebody who, yeah, you're big, you're strong, but you're not when you're depleting yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
Sanchez even like
I
fighting at
couldn't agree
featherweight.
more.
He
I think
looks a little doughy at welterweight. Lightweight I think is better for him. But like man, fight where your weight, where your body is, where you're in good shape at.
one's good how they do their hydration testing and this and that for that. But I just think on Matthews, he looks even big at
Yeah,
welterweight too,
he
though. For the
does. He
first
looks like a
time,
big dude.
we were only saying, leading up into that fight, like how he was young and coming through and he's a kid, but it's time for him to kind of, step up a little bit. And even looking into that fight, he looked like a man. Not like, I shouldn't say it like that, but he looked,
Yeah,
like he looked,
he's grown. Like
he's
he's
always looked like
matured.
a bit of a kid to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he just looks like he's taken that, and his footwork was great in that fight. I think, and ever since making the move to welterweight, he's looked good. And I just want to give him a shout out. Actually, part of his fight camp for that was he had an extended fight camp where I was reading the paper over here, where he had I think it was a 12-week fight camp, and the first 8 weeks of that was an army course where he went to the army and did an army course, this and that, and he's qualified as a private now, I think it is. So he's got ambitions once his UFC career is finished to move into the army and stuff like that. So yeah, no, just credit to him on
that's
that.
cool, man. Wow, I
Over
had no
here,
idea.
it's one of us anyway.
I
Yeah,
had no
no,
idea.
yeah, no. I only seen it in the paper. The other day. I should have probably said something to you, but yeah, no. So shout
That's
out to him
cool,
for
man.
that anyway.
That's where, like I'm saying, a lot of these guys, they've got the fighters in general, better with it. They've got a lot of the skill sets that could go to something else. You look at Tim Kennedy, who was a Green Beret beforehand, then worked his way into mixed martial arts, and now is doing a lot of stuff outside of that in the entertainment world. But because he's had that skill set outside of mixed martial arts, that's just a feather in the cap. That doesn't. It's not like NBA and NFL in America right now, where people look at it like you're so distinguished as an athlete and a superstar. You've got like Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, maybe Chuck Liddell and Tito. Like, there's not a lot. Hoist Gracie probably wouldn't get recognized by the masses of people. It's crazy, but it's just what it is. It will be there soon.
Yeah.
It will be there one day. But it's like, until, especially UFC, until they do proper marketing and promote their fucking fighters and don't make their fighters promote themselves and have to dye their hair multicolored like Tekashi 6ix9ine to get noticed. Just saying. I mean, no knock to Sean. I'm just saying, it's bullshit.
I think it's good to see blokes like Matthews do that and just realise that you do have to set up a career after fighting. You know, like and the problem you've got, and this is nothing against Diego either, but I just think it's time he probably considers
that shit up
where he's at as well.
And be the coach. Get rid of your shitty ass coach. Did you see Matt Serra fucking annihilate his coach?
I was gonna bring that up.
Oh man.
Yeah. You know, show me some respect. If you're gonna talk about me, at least say my name. I don't know your fucking name.
He's like, listen, go ahead, make money off Diego, do what you gotta do, but I don't care. Get the fuck away from my table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I respect Diego. I don't respect you now. Fuck off.
That was good, man.
Yeah, no, that was good,
shout
actually.
out to Diego. He's an OG, but time to hang that shit up, man. Been there since UFC, Ultimate Fighter fucking 1. Hang that shit up.
Yeah. Nah, he's an absolute champ, Hall of Famer. Well done on, pat on the back for everything he's done in his career. And that's why I worry, it's just blokes like him.
I guess we'll leave that off.
I don't know.
We'll leave that out of here. That was fucking ridiculous. Yeah. I was pretty high when I saw it.
Yeah.
So I scrolled. I'm like, how fucking stoned am I? Because now that I got the rig back in business, I've been doing more dabs. The blunts are definitely part of it. I was like, am I that fucking high? McGregor didn't say that. This is just a meme. Nope, that was real.
Nah, I don't know who he's kidding there.
I think it was a respect fight.
Yeah. We'll touch on McGregor and some of the bullshit going on.
We'll get out the dude segment there. But yeah, dude, made card. So made card. We'll quickly just...
Well, did you want to touch on Riddell and Silva at all? I thought Riddell looked pretty good.
Fucking stoned, Riddell and Silva. That was good. That was a good one, man. That was impressive. It was a good fight.
Yeah.
Tough fight.
No, I just thought it was good. Riddell showed that, Riddell lost that first round.
Hands down.
Taken down. And but to come back, he won that fight, looked good, finish off strong. It wasn't a super, performance.
Fight,
but no, it was solid performance. Yeah, it was. No, it was a tough fight. That was just a good, hard win for him. I think he's 3-0 since moving in, or it might be 1-3, but I think he's three wins in a row now. 3-fight win streak now he's on. And
we got to get our young Jamie
problem
to
is
look
that
shit up for us immediately. He's like, here it is, guys. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude, impressive.
Yeah, no, he looked good. Yeah, no, that was a good fight to lead into the main card, I suppose.
I hate to be that guy, but I don't like to see somebody who just dominates everybody always, because then I'm like, it's weak competition. It's Fedor-ish. It's like a lot of the guys who've had like maybe a couple of names in there, but who were the names when you fought them type of shit. I'm just really disappointed when I see a fighter who's moved all the way up and they get to the point where they're going to be big, like let's say Chimaev, and you don't give them that real gritty test. I like to see that person who really pushes them, so you see how they come back from losing a round, at least a round, if not a whole fight, Yeah.
Nah, I totally agree with you. Before I see anyone fight for a title, I want to see them come back from adversity.
I want to see a
win.
pushed fight. That's where I really appreciated. Even with look at Adesanya. With Silva, he won clearly, but he was pushed. You could see he was pushed more to a level that was like, all right. So he went with one of the elite strikers. He went bar for bar with the striker, blow for blow. We see he's legit. And then going against Calvin, that really showed it. We'll touch on Adesanya later, but that's what, for me, the caliber of fighter. I want to see you tested first. Yeah, no, exactly right. I want to see you be losing and come back from losing to win. And I don't care if it's you lose a fight to come back to win, but just even like I say, come back from some kind of adversity, get dropped, be losing around, be 2 rounds down in a 5-fight, or even be 2 rounds down in a 3-fight win and get the finish in the third. Just come back from some kind of adversity, be tested. I didn't expect John Jones to win when he was called up to fucking fight Shogun when what's his name, Rashad, was injured. I honestly didn't. I was like, he hasn't really been tested. He's fought some people, but not like Shogun. And that wasn't even a fight. That was like big brother, little brother. But Yeah, so onto the main card,
Yeah.
man. That honestly, man, that Duadu versus Tukahaya, that fight
Hakeem
it
Dawodu
was
versus
it was entertaining. It was
Takagorov.
entertaining, but I agree, man. Like, Dawadu was yelling at him. He's like, "Come on, motherfucker, let's go." He was trying to tell him, like, "Let's fight, man," because realistically, you need to be entertaining in the UFC. UFC should be UFE, Ultimate Fighting Entertainment, because being more entertaining could keep you there. Look at Mike Perry, bro. How many losses he got now in the UFC, and they're booking him against Robbie fucking Lawler? Like, if you're an entertaining fighter, you're a personality that stands out, you'll stick around. Bruce Leroy, he's pulling the string now. He's looking good. Perfect example. Alex Caceres, man, he's not somebody who's got a great record by any means, but he's entertaining. When he fights, he's entertaining. Win, lose, or draw, I'm always pretty much entertained with him. And so that's where I
Yep.
think some of these fighters, I think Dawadu's going to get that. He's a dude who likes to scrap. He likes to go forward. Takatuka, he's not that guy. Like he wanted to be a Habib in that sense of the grappling and the pressure, but it's like he was too much on the back pedal. He's moving backwards too much, and his footwork isn't side to side and lateral movement. It's literally backwards and kind of running, and it was just
I think
disappointing.
he tired. I think he tired too. And the problem with that style, that Khabib fucking,
It's just
all
power
wrestle kind of
aggression.
Dagestani. Yeah, but it is tiring too. So you need to be able to, maintain it, and that's the problem with him. I just don't think he can. Like, so he probably, I don't know what the score was, but did you even win in that first round?
Eh,
It was a
eh.
close, and then I just thought Hakeem did enough after then the next 2 rounds to get the decision. I thought it was an okay fight, but it
Yeah,
wasn't.
it wasn't. That was the least. That fight and Sarge's fight were the least of the two that. I don't know, like I say it's Sarge's fight because it wasn't her fight, but those are the least entertaining on the entire card, to be honest. And that's
Yep.
how it goes a lot of
Yeah, no,
times
and I'm
on
not
the
saying it
main
was a
card.
bad fight. The
No, but in
problem, I suppose, the problem
comparison,
we had was, yeah. I think that's the problem is, in comparison to what else was on the card, it probably wasn't quite as,
yeah, I almost want to just
and
like
as
skip
expected too.
those and just jump right to Kai's fight, man. Kai and fucking Royval. Royval? Am I saying it right? Am I butchering that
Brendan
name too?
Royval.
Royval. Fucking
Yeah.
scrap. Shout out to both fighters. What a fight, man. Very, very, very entertaining. Royval is somebody who has been kind of on the scene just because the division is so limited. But at the same time, he's young, man. And against Kai, to look as good as he did in all areas, to be able to get rocked, come back, submissions look great. I mean, every aspect, he looked fucking great. And Kai as well, man. Kai just got a little reckless. He got to that point where, like, old school Kai of just, like, bang him, let him go. And that was fun. It was good to watch. But that's not going to have longevity in the UFC. Just won't.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I thought Kai was probably winning the stand up early in the first, and then they both dropped each other, and then it went to the ground, and Royval probably got the better on the ground. And then I don't know what Kai shot in for the double leg for. He probably should have tried keeping
Yeah,
it on
that
his
was almost
feet. And
McGregor-ish, where it was like, I think he was a little rocked. And I think like
yeah,
he wasn't all there totally. And he was like, I'm just pressure, pressure, go forward, pressure. Like the fighter in him took over. But it's like his striking is elite for the division. I mean, the only person in that division who I would say even compares would be the champ, Figueroa. But then also like former fighters who are in the division. Pettis when he was in there, Sergio. Lineker when he was able to make weight. There's nobody who's really got the power and just slams with that shit like Tyson, Iron Mike Tyson, not Tyson here, but maybe so, maybe also Tyson here, but but like that fucking killer power, man, that really defies the belief of little dudes can't hit. And that's why I like Kai. Since the first time I saw him in Ultimate Fighter, I was like, this motherfucker bangs, man. You're gonna see a finish with this guy. And sometimes it's him who's
yeah,
finished,
nah,
unfortunately. But entertaining fight, dude. Very entertaining.
yeah. That's the problem. I think like he just gets caught into a fight.
Yeah, he gets those
He
firefights, man.
once
He's
he
ready to brawl.
yeah, Yeah, and it must be frustrating because you've got Eugene like Badman, the best technical coach in the
Yeah.
world,
He's probably
and
sitting there,
then
he's like,
Kai
God
just
damn it,
gets in.
Kai.
Yeah,
Little
no, but just
Captain
imagine
break.
how frustrating it is.
Whew.
Yeah, but no, that was just an entertaining fight. It could have gone either way. But Royval, he looked good.
Dude.
either whoever won that fight was only going to be a win away from getting the shot, really. Like, so even Royval, like I said, I was impressed with that. He probably pushes him inside the top. He's got to be knocking on the door of top 5 now, if not, inside
Oh
the top
yeah.
5, and only a win away.
I
So
mean, the division
yeah,
is limited. I'm not gonna say weak because it's not weak. It's limited. And so once it gets to the point where there's more fighters that come in there, and it's just the younger generations that start coming in, the little dudes who are like, well, shit, I'm not gonna be an actor and go into fucking wrestling, professional wrestling in WWE. I'm gonna take my wrestling skills from college and be in here, or their combat skills, whatever they do, the little guys. It's gonna get to that point. I mean, you remember back in the day, UFC, they got rid of the lightweight division because it was so weak in their mind. They had it for a while, then they were like, nah, whack. Lightweight's the most stacked division in the UFC now. I mean, arguably, obviously, but it's
yeah,
one of the most stacked divisions. So if it's like, I think flyweight is going to be one that really brings it out. If you look in boxing, a lot of the lighter weight guys that's the more entertaining divisions to watch. It's UFC's young, man. It's 20 years old. Mixed martial arts as a whole is like 25, 30 years old. So it's like, you look in a scenario of basketball, football, I mean, international football, American football, all these different sports that have been around for so fucking long. You've got talent that's like 16 to 20 years old that's just amazingly good. MMA will get to that point at some point. But right now, the division is weak. I'll fully be the first to say that it's weak. But with Cody Garbrandt dropping down, if he can make weight, it opens it up. I noticed that when a star, so to speak, comes down to a division, moves up to a division, the attention moves there more. Even light heavyweight, when Luke Rockhold came up, he got rocked, which was great because I don't like him, but it ended up bringing star power. There was attention there. Chris Weidman, light heavyweight, there's attention there. Middleweight, you see Darren Till's up there now. You've got a lot of different people who like made the division more attractive. So I think flyweight could get to that point if there's some bangers, if there's some good fights. The champion right now is somebody who, in my opinion, is probably going to hold the belt for a while. I think he's going to fucking destroy Cody. I just do. I think Cody's going to be depleted and not ready for it. But I don't see anybody fucking with him, man. And I think that will open it up over time because people are going to want to take that belt. They're going to want to compete with him. Demetrius Johnson was somebody who wasn't like, he doesn't talk a lot of shit. He's not going to really finish everybody he fights. He's not super attractive to the masses and to the random people. But when you see some little 125-pound dude knocking the fuck out of somebody or strangling them to death like he did to Benavidez, that's going to make you maybe be like, holy shit, you got to see this little motherfucker here, dude. Come over, homie, and watch this little dude bang. Like, it's different, you know?
that's the thing with that's the thing with that the lighter weight class in general. It's different. They're always going to struggle with power, but that's where he's different. He does just crack, man. He cracks hard as anyone. But I don't know so much that it's weak. I think it just lacks depth. Like, I think the top 5
oh, dude,
are
that's
all
all
pretty
it is.
handy.
It's just depth.
Yeah, but to me, it's the same in the heavyweight division too. And I suppose you got to look at it in society in general, man, is percentage of people.
Our
Like,
average.
I guess if only 10% of people have, just that. Well, you look at your sheer average people. That's why I think that's probably why you
average, because they're the average, basic, general people. And I think that, but the difference is though, in the UFC, they've publicly talked about squashing the flyweight division. So why would you want to be working your way to make it to the UFC as a 125-pound fighter if they're publicly saying they're going to squash the division, and you've got fighters saying, I'm here to save the division, and then I'm leaving to fight for the bantamweight belt? Like, I don't know. We can literally make a whole fucking episode on the flyweight division, because I've been an advocate for it for a long time, because me and my homeboy Chris and Zach went and saw the first defense. It was Demetrius Johnson versus John Dodson in Chicago, USA. Fucking super good fight, man. That was really cool to see. I mean, Demetrius Johnson showed exactly what I was talking about. Getting rocked, getting fucking worked, and coming back and winning the fight. And that, for me, showed potential. I was like, dude, look at this little motherfucker John Dodson. Just cracking, dude. I mean, rocking people. He knocked out fucking TJ in the bantamweight division. Like, the dude hits. And I was like, see, there's going to be more people like this little motherfucker here. I'm telling you, fast, hit hard as hell, and are entertaining. And it's starting to get there.
Yeah, well, that's where I think people with the few that are tuning in or whatever need to watch a little bit more of One FC because some of them smaller Thai blokes over there in them lighter divisions, man, that's why Mighty Mouse went over there and got lit up. Like, it's a bit of a different, the body type over there. There is a lot more smaller guys, man,
Yeah.
and the depth in the lighter weight divisions, and there are a lot of known names, and you can't pronounce them, and you'll never remember them again. But
Yeah.
you see them perform, and they'll live up to the
Fucking
show.
especially me, I butcher fucking names. Any of the
Oh,
new viewers, obviously if you're new, it's episode 2, but any of the people from Cannabis Lifestyle TV who are watching this, I butcher names. So don't expect the 1FC names to come out even remotely correct. I'm saying red corner, blue
mate,
corner.
us Aussies struggle enough with American names, let alone Thai. Jesus
I can
Christ, we
only
struggle to
imagine,
read them,
bro.
let alone pronounce them.
But yeah,
Oh,
man, let's move
yeah.
forward because I could talk. We should make an episode of the lighter weight divisions at some point. We're gonna go over stuff like that and make more episodes specifically about like top knockouts, top lighter divisions or lightweight contenders, things like that because we could talk for fucking days about this MMA stuff, guys. You have no idea. So yeah, main card continued, man. Jan or Jan, if you feel like an asshole, versus Reyes. That is one I had honestly slept on. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought Reyes had it in the bag. I was like, oh man, Reyes looked good against Jones, but styles make fights. And anybody who argues that's a fucking idiot. Styles make fights. There's no MMA math. There's no, well, he beat this person and they beat that person. Jan's got 8 losses. He's got the most losses, I believe, other than Michael Bisping, to win a title. And I think even more than Michael Bisping to win a title this late in his career. I mean,
Probably would, yeah.
and he looked
Yeah, nah,
good, man. Fucking powerhouse, aggressive. I mean, on his shit. And Reyes looked lost, deer in the headlights, man. I don't think he anticipated Jan. Because if you look at Jan's fights, he's got like 3 that really show him explosive and aggressive. The rest are pretty much like balanced, good fighter, does his thing. He's all right. But I always called him Boring Jan. The middle child and the Brady Bunch. And it was just not it was not my thing, man. And I don't know. I don't know if you know about the Brady Bunch here in America. That shit was popping back in the day, but
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah,
man. He didn't have it for me, but to be the second Polish fighter to be a champion, to win by a fucking decisive way that he did. Big, big, big shout out. But to call John Jones out afterwards.
yeah,
I'm high, but he
yeah.
was
He's
very high. See, even it pissed the dog off. It even pissed the fucking dog off.
Yeah.
Because it was the stupidest fucking comment. You win the belt. And I get it. You want to solidify being the champ because it's almost like when Cormier got the belt. It's like, did you really get the belt?
Wait a sec, man.
So, yeah, dude. Anyways, so, with Jan, I'm not going to call him Jan anymore. He earned my fucking respect. I honestly think run the division and then make what would be considered a super fight to people. When you're that motherfucker who looks unbeatable and the only person out there who could potentially be the one to beat you is the former champ who vacated the belt. It's a storied championship fight. Why would you not go about that? Hold that, like we said before this podcast, hold that damn belt for a minute. Shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah, man.
Fight the winner of
Win it,
Glover
hold on
and
to it, make as much
Santos.
as you can off it. Yeah. I think that's probably what it's set up for too. If Santos can win that fight for rematch against him, and so it's. But yeah, when you win it, hold on to it for as long as you can.
Yeah.
Don't go calling out the best straight away. Jesus
You get a
Christ.
split of pay-per-views. You're gonna get more money in general. You're gonna get main card money. I mean, I just don't understand it, and especially for him, man. Like, it was cool as shit seeing when he came into the airport in Poland, and everybody was like crowding him. He was like, "Oh shit." I mean, it's cool to see somebody like himself again. I like to see the underdog win. Like, that's cool as hell. It really inspires a lot of people because you see these fighters who, Diego Sanchez, perfect example. He's like, I know I'm not going to be a champion anymore. I'm just fighting, having fun. Cool. You never fucking know. You pull together 3, 4, 5 really impressive wins. All of a sudden, you have an argument because of the media and the masses of people because it's UFE, Ultimate Fighting Entertainment. You're going to get a title shot, baby.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I just think it's good to see him win. Like, he's a pretty humble kind of bloke. He, like you say, you look at the airport there. Means a lot to him. I was a bit disappointed and sad for Reyes. Not like that, but he
took it like a champ, man.
just
He was
didn't.
like his tweet afterwards or maybe Instagram. I don't know what the fuck it was, but like, I like to see somebody like him because he's still young enough where that's the first real loss he's had. That fight with John Jones, win, lose, or draw, that's a victory for experience and respect. Like, his stock went up like crazy. He was a basic bitch beforehand.
Yep.
Like, I mean, yeah, he had potential, but he was a basic bitch. Let's be real. Now he's a real motherfucker. Win, lose, or draw, Dominic Reyes is
I,
a top. He's the new Alex Gustafson. He's the bridesmaid, never the bride, potentially, but he's a top dude. And who the fuck else you see messing with him? I don't see anybody in that division other than maybe a lucky strike, but like Santos, maybe.
yeah, his boxing's good when he's on, like he's and that my thing was I don't know. I heard him say a little bit prior to the fight that he wishes he got a full camp in, and then just sometimes I worry with all that talk about him winning that fight. Everyone saying that he beat John Jones, this and that. He's already the champion. That it was just a bit of a shit show leading into it, and I don't
Yeah,
mean
he
it
felt
like
like he's
that, but
defending his
sometimes just
belt, you know.
yeah. Yeah, he thought he'd won it before he got. I don't know. He did it. Yeah, it's a fight,
No,
man.
dude,
Someone's got to lose. There's always.
I agree, man. In the sense
Yeah, but
of
I just
confidence, like Jan had quiet confidence. Reyes was very, I beat Jones. He left the division because he was scared to fight me. This and this. He's calling him out. It's like, I get it. You got to sell your fights because UFC doesn't market anybody very well. They market some people and they have potential to do it. They just don't seem to do it. If they need help, holler at me because I would definitely be your director of marketing part time. But, I think that Reyes took that shit talking kind of douchebag approach like McGregor and a lot of other fighters do, and he shouldn't have done that. He should have been like, I'm the elite dude. Let me go and drop some bombs on the next guy. Period. I don't care. I'm gonna run stuff and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna beat Jones, whether I gotta move up to heavyweight and follow him, or we gotta set up a fight after he retires. But he took the route of I'm the champ. I'm doing this thing like Calvin Gastelum when he borrowed fucking Triple Cringe's belt and ran around holding the belt. Like, I mean, it's just like, come on, dude. Like, be you. Be the authentic Reyes. And maybe it is. I don't know him personally. These fighters are who they are, but you can feel the cringe in some fighters, and that felt forced. And I'm glad that Jan laid him out. I'm
yeah,
glad that Jan got that win for that reason alone. So shout out to him. And speaking of,
yeah. No, I said
well, I was just gonna say, speaking of
I
fucking
go.
Jan, like he calling out Cormier afterwards too. I don't know if you saw that. I think Cormier will
I
fuck
did.
him up. That's not the fight to make.
Yeah. Nah, no. Just sit on to that title. Hold on to it for as long as you can. The first fight you're gonna get is gonna be the winner of either Glover and
Santos.
Theo, Santos, and I think it's set up for the rematch if if DeSantis wins, and if not, I wouldn't mind seeing an old Glover getting a shot. To be
Oh,
honest with
for
you, I've
sure,
always
dude.
been a
Glover is
fan of
good,
Glover
man.
since back in the pit days when he was with Chuck,
Yeah.
and Chuck and
Gene Hackleman.
What's his name?
Was-
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hackerman used to always talk about how good this bloke was, and he could never get visas and
Dude,
whatever else, and
his
so yeah, no, I wouldn't mind
what I was gonna say,
seeing
even
him getting a
against
shot.
Jones, man, like he brought the beast, he brought the dog out of Jones, and Jones was in the corner throwing. Like I
Yeah,
like, man, I'm a big fan of some of those dudes who the older kind of dudes where I wouldn't say like old in age, but like we're in that transition of when mixed martial arts has got a little bit more mainstream. They've got that old grit to them, but they're the names that I remember. And like a lot of fighters, again, that's gonna be another podcast. It's like the glory days, not glory kickboxing, but the glory days of UFC or mixed martial arts before it became so publicized in UFE, so to speak, when it was still really the sport, and it was like the best versus the best always.
we can always touch on the glory kickboxing too if you want. We
Oh, well, this says
I
the
don't mind
MMA
touching
podcast.
Badahari.
Like, it's definitely MMA, but we are definitely talking other things. We even may touch on the stupidest announcement I've seen of Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. That may come up. That may come up. But for now, we'll move on
We'll
to the
try to
main. Yeah, we'll
avoid
try
that
to
if
avoid
possible.
stupid shit, but we'll move on to the main event because that was very impressive. That moved Adesanya, who's, like I told you before, one of my favorite to watch right now, moved him from like here to literally knocking on GOAT status. That was fucking impressive. Very impressive, man. To be that defensive and offensive and relaxed and clean and calm and while he's being baited with the shit talk, like, man, impressive.
He said it best, man. Y'all must have forgot.
Yeah.
Just because that one shit fight against Romero, people forgot just how elite his striking is. And 2 minutes into that fight, after he'd already chopped up Costa's legs with them skinny shins,
Yeah.
man, the writing was on the
Oh
wall.
yeah, dude. We were
That was,
messaging back and forth. I was like, yeah, man, he's just looking great. Like it's sooner or later if Costa doesn't get more aggressive and then literally like cue the fucking boom boom, because as I say it, he just gets knocked the fuck out. He gets aggressive in the wrong way because he was trying to make a kickboxing match. Like, how you gonna go kickboxing? Israel fucking Adesanya, 100 martial arts matches. How the fuck you go? Like, I'm high, but who the fuck got him that high? Like, Henry Cejudo's coach is tripping. Cejudo got his ego through the fucking roof, and he was like, "You can outstrike this man." No, you needed to be in the clinch with this dude, making the distance. I mean, nothing.
He needed
like,
to make it dirty,
exactly, man, gritty
Yeah.
and rough, and be on this motherfucker and catch him with power shots in the clinch and ground and pound, like dumb. Like I said, if he would have came with the leg kicks and the body strikes when we talked in the initial lead up, he might have had a chance. But instead, he came in with the dog shit Ricky Martin game plan, and that's what the fuck happened. Because man, Costa can be better than that, but you don't come in trying to outstrike with motherfucking Izzy. Like, how high are you, player?
I think he was concerned a little bit about the 5 rounds, so he was trying to pace himself early. But like I said, 2 minutes in, man, he couldn't. I don't think people realize how jacked that leg was.
That shit looked like
I
ground
reckon he
beef.
was already 2 minutes in. Yeah,
That shit was
so 2
ugly.
minutes in, he was struggling to stand on that, and then that was that, man. I don't know if he needed, like you say, he probably just needed a bull rush, turn it into a dogfight, get in close, dirty box, do what he had to do. But you can't stay at
Bring a
Adesanya's
gun.
range and let him pick it apart. You like that? And
He should have brought
and then
a
the problem
goddamn
was,
gun.
I think, yeah,
Because I'm telling you,
yeah,
Israel
maybe.
was on that night, dude. Like I said, keeping the distance, being a defensive fighter that's offensive, that calm while Costa's talking this shit and egging him on. There was a lot of animosity leading up to the fight. You don't see that often, but while he's a young dude, he's not a young fighter. He's an OG. He's a vet and shit. 100 martial arts fights. It's just like when Stephen Thompson came into the game. I was preaching to everybody. I'm like, Stephen Thompson, this motherfucker has not lost any martial arts fights. Have you seen, like, I mean, kickboxing, fucking random striking shit, taekwondo, everything. Like, he hasn't lost, period. None of his MMA fights. So now you look at Israel Adesanya, same scenario, even better. So in my opinion, though, you got somebody like Israel Adesanya who really, he showed some ground shit. When you see that fight against Melvin Gillard, whatever you want to call him, I mean, he showed his ground game isn't total trash. Not that Gillard's the best ground fighter, but it's like he's decent. Calvin Gastelum, he wasn't able to get taken down and it really worked. I mean, like, to have that style is good. So going forward, who the fuck is really gonna mess with him? I think me and you decided there's only one guy. There's some names that could be entertaining. There's only one guy who really could be a threat. That's Hermansson.
And I just think I don't know that it's so much a threat. I think if he doesn't get the fight to the ground,
oh, it's done. It's not
probably
happening.
even a worse one-sided domination than we've seen just gone. But if he does, then it might be a different ball game. But yeah, I just don't know, man. He's got to get. We just seen him get flatlined by Cannon. He got past. Who did he win? Gastelum with the heel hook. But prior to that, he got flatlined by Cannonier. So
I mean, I hate to be that way. That's one I don't want to take away from him. But like, was Gastelum off? Because that was a very fucking elementary kind of heel hook, man.
Bro, I
like,
just think that's
I'm a
where
white belt in jiu-jitsu, and that's like.
Yeah, but I think Hermansson's that good on the ground. I don't think people realise he's probably, he's almost not quite Damian Maia, but he is. I think he's probably the best.
I mean, like I said, he's unorthodox.
Submission artist in the middleweight division.
So his style, while it's basic in that aspect, it's unorthodox. You look at someone like Brian T. City, comparable scenario. Everything he does is orthodox, but his approach is unorthodox. Rear naked chokes, guillotines, arm bars, triangles, basic shit. But it's his approach to it is kind of unorthodox for this time in fighting. And I think the same with Hermansson is like, it's sloppy, but it's clean. If that, again, makes sense to the viewers who aren't as high as I am. But it makes sense, or the listeners, it makes sense because the fact is, like, he comes in very weird in his stance. His striking is kind of like a bar fighter, sloppy, and he gets you to the ground and he fucking snaps on you, man. Like, he is on you quick, like Rousey is with her arm bars. He doesn't slowly, methodically Damian Maia you into a backpack approach, that motherfucker's on you like flies on shit. And I think that's the difference maker.
Yeah, no,
If he can get even for a second on the ground, he could make that a real tough fight.
yeah, he's aggressive. If he gets a hold of a limb, he'll take it. So, I think it's just style-wise. When we say styles make fights, it's probably the only style that hasn't, Adesanya probably hasn't really come up against.
Yeah, I mean, the only other person I could even think of who has a comparable style is Chimaev, and he's still so young in his career that it's tough to say that, but the hype that he's gotten, one or two more fights, I could see him moving up there because the division does have names. I don't see Darren Till being a threat, really. I see him being a fun fight. I see him being entertaining. I see Whitaker being a fun fight. I see Cannonier being a fun fight. I don't see them winning. I mean, any fighter could win. Styles make fights. That night, they could be the better man. On paper, what I've seen, nah. Like, there's just not many people fucking with him. There's Chimaev potentially, unless I'm too high, because maybe, again, he's super early in his career. And, yeah, Hermanson, man. That's it. Going forward, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think Cannonier and Whitaker, the winner of that's probably going to get the next shot. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like their chances. You know,
same here.
I don't know.
I'm ready to watch it though.
Is it maybe? Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'll be tuning in. Everyone's got to punch his chance, but
yeah, I mean, Izzy, I think honestly, man, is the new Spider-Man. He's the new Silva, and not in the aspect of stylistically comparable, but I'm talking about being the dude running the fucking division. I just don't see many people fucking with him. Solid takedown defense. His distance is range fighting is you can't. I have no comparison to give. I mean, there's literally not a single fighter other than maybe John Jones. So that's one we could talk about later, but I really don't see anybody at middleweight fucking with him.
Yeah, I don't either. I can see him holding on to that title for a long time, to be honest with you. And he seems to be motivated too. He, like you say, when the first thing you do after the fights come out and say Cannonier, finish Whitaker, impressively, and you're next in line. He obviously wants to fight the best. He's motivated. And interviews you see with him, that's the thing that impresses me most is he doesn't just talk about, don't get me wrong, he concentrates on the next fight and just the next opponent, getting through the next opponent. But he's got ambitions to be, to be the best.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Go down as.
And he, again, Cannonier is not the attractive name, but for him to win a fight and call out someone like Cannonier, he's trying to break the stigma of like I win a belt and I'm trying to be a dual champ and do this and that. He's wanting to fight everybody and clear the division out. He wants to be any name that's a potential argument that hey, this person may beat you. Fuck no. Like right now, look at his record. We didn't even mention Silva last time when we were talking about who he's already fought. Like he has fought the best in the division, period. Anybody else has been added recently. But like on his way up till right now, anybody else has lost a fight one or two fights ago. They've had some issues where they maybe have had injuries or didn't make weight, whatever it is, or they're just moving up the division like Till, and he did have a loss recently too. So it's like there's nobody that we can mention that is a sure shot. But one thing I can say for sure is regardless of what happens, Israel's definitely going to go down as one of the greats. Like just period. When you have victories like he's got, you got the record like he has, the people he's beat. I mean already, you look at if you go on Sherdog and you see who people have fought and you're like, this dude's the great, and you're like, well, let me look at some of the names. You're like, are they? Because big shout out to Silva, obviously, but like Travis Lutter, Damian Maia sleepy ass fight, Patrick Cote, fucking a lot of fights where it's like, even Chael Sonnen, tough fight, but like record, Stephan Bonner, like there's a lot of James Irvin. This is off the top of the head. Good buzz because I had a really strong fucking drink and smoked 2 blunts and rolling another and still off the top of the head. A lot of weak names that, well, his record was like, damn, he destroyed a lot of people. Chris Lieben, and even, I don't give a fuck. Franklin was at the point where in his career, in the UFC, it was a turning point where they're going from like, you were a specialist in one thing or the other, or you were balanced. And if you're balanced, you're probably the best dude. You're going to be the top guy. Well, you became to the point where the specialists were good at everything, but really good at a few things. And that's what happened with Anderson Silva. He moved it up from like pretty good striking to elite striking and good takedown defense and pretty good jiu-jitsu and all these different areas that make it so you can't just be decent. So I think Israel Adesanya has already proved, in my opinion, the caliber of fighter that he's fought in this day and age. Better fighters, shorter period of time, younger in his age. Man, I don't know. We'll be having
Well,
this argument. I'm
I
just
think
saying, like
I think he's a future. He's already a future Hall of Famer after a 3-year UFC career.
yeah. I
Really?
mean, literally. That's my argument I'm making
Yeah.
here. Is like you could literally put him up there because you're looking at the caliber of fighters. Like I don't give a fuck. Yeah, Romero's fight was boring. He won the fight. Period. So who else do you have that you can say was a close fight? Nothing. He's destroyed everybody.
Yeah.
Like
The only one that close was the Gastelum fight, and
that's
that's
true.
what you want to see from a champion. Though, come back from adversity, he got tested. He going into that last round, fight was on the line, and what did he say? I'm willing to die for this,
And that
and
showed it,
away
man.
they went.
That showed it. He's
Yeah.
not some little
So
bubblegum sissy champ like a lot of people want to talk, But I mean,
yeah,
we'll come back and see where things go because again, there's been fights that I didn't anticipate that person. You look at Jan, I didn't anticipate him to be the champion. So you never know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll circle back. I might end up eating my words. But so next,
I just for now, I agree with you though. For now, I just think I can't see him personally. I think there's only maybe 2 or 3 more in that middleweight division, and he's really cleaned it out. And apart from that,
might move up to light
probably opens
heavyweight.
up maybe super fight with exactly right.
Well, my
So
thing is, he
he's
moves up to
talked
light
about it.
heavyweight, man. The division is opening up, especially when you talk about someone like Anthony Rumble motherfucking Johnson coming back. And well, he may get caught with a rear naked choke, not from Israel Adesanya. John Jones, maybe. But that's exciting, man. Latest news, we'll say. He's been talking about it for a while. He's been saying it, but officially being in the USADA pool makes it fucking official. And I don't think that's...
So he has tossed his name into the USADA pool then, has
Yep.
he?
And I don't know if that's the fight. I mean, he's a powerhouse. He's comparable to somebody like Costa, in a way. But the difference is if you have somebody like Izzy fighting him, he's durable. I've never seen ever. I don't think I've ever seen Anthony rock. Maybe when he got poked in the eye in that bullshit TKO. That was the only fight I've ever seen him like wobbled from anything. But otherwise, that would be a tough fight for him.
Especially since moving up to the heavyweight divisions
Oh,
and
yeah,
not draining himself weight-wise like this
Welter?
yet.
Can you fucking
Different.
believe he was a welterweight?
Ah,
What the fuck?
I don't know how the hell. But then in saying that too, after seeing a few videos of Hooker and Izzy sparring, how the hell did Hooker ever make 185?
Yeah.
He looks bigger than Israel. So, but yeah, that is what it is, isn't it?
I don't know, man. The thing is some of these fighters, like, they come in to weigh at a certain weight and they rehydrate a ton. And I don't think Johnson's one of those dudes. I really don't. But like, there's some fighters, even like Hooker, you could see in his face, he looks depleted at his weigh-in. McGregor's another one.
Yeah.
He, other than at welterweight, looks very depleted. Fucking Night of the Living Dead, Walking Dead style zombie. The Holloway's look depleted. A lot of fighters look depleted at the weigh-in, and it's like, man, ew. That was just yesterday, and you're about to go fight the next day. I'm gonna chill at home, probably have the creatine shits, smoke some weed, and watch the fights. I'm not gonna fight. Like, that's fucking crazy. So, I think for Anthony Johnson to be able to do that from, I mean, not that he made weight for shit, from welterweight to 185.
185, he's still good.
But still, I'm excited to see him come back because the division is more open than ever. And if he's worked on, the only thing he needs to work on is the fucking rear naked chokes. Him and Melvin Gillard are like the same in that aspect, man. Their striking is fucking elite, but then once they go to the ground, they get choked out like every fucking time.
Who in the lightweight division, light heavyweight division at the moment, though, can you see taking him down and choking him out? Really?
Glover.
Now with Jones moving on. Yeah, Glover, yeah. But still,
Glover's got a mean
even
rear
then,
naked
man.
choke. I could see maybe Glover.
Yeah, nah.
I could see that's about it, dude. Honestly, man. That's really about it.
That's the thing I think now with, Jones moving on. Really, he's probably got to be, Jan's title, holds the title now, but really he's got to be probably the best 205er out there, doesn't he?
I'd think so, man. I think he's gonna end up fighting against the fuck is his name? I am totally high. I just was fighting against him on the UFC 4 game. Man, he got smoked by Walker.
Oh, Ryan Spann.
No, not recently. Misha.
All
Misha Kravalev? I'm talking about?
right. Yeah, I think I
I'm
know
gonna
who.
give Benny the
Yeah, I
link to the
reckon.
dude when I'm not as high and buzzed. So I can give so I'll be like, here, Misha Kravalev, I believe his name is.
Yeah, Krivolov, I think it is. Yeah,
I think that's gonna
yeah,
be
I
the
reckon I
fight,
know
dude.
who you're
Honestly, I,
talking
I
about.
really do. I think I don't know why, but I swear to God, when I make UFC events on UFC 4, those fights come to fucking reality. It's like Indian in the cupboard. Like I've been making fucking Robbie Lawler versus Perry for like 3 months. Fight comes to reality. I'm making Dustin Poirier versus fucking McGregor rematch forever. All of a sudden now it's a conversation. Like I don't know, man. I
Well,
think I might be the person who's making these
speaking
fights happen.
speaking of which, I see Neil Magny must have tuned into the first episode and listened to our advice and called out fucking Hamzat
Yeah,
Makin
hey, shout
Shemaev.
out to Neil Magny. A little buzz there, obviously. I've been a big fan of Neil for a
Yeah,
long time, dude. I like his basically attrition wins. That fucker will outwork
yeah.
you and beat your ass for 3 rounds consistently and just pick you apart for 3 rounds, dude. Fucking
I just like the look of him too. Like you look at him and you think, "Oh Jesus Christ, this poor little, poor skinny bloke's up against a hit man,"
yeah.
and he just, like you say, cardio
Dude,
machine
that fight
outworks him,
against
and
Hector
that's where I think,
Lombard, that really gave me the respect for him where I was like,
yeah,
holy shit, took a hell of an ass beating, came back and dominated him.
nah, and that's where I think that's a good fight for Hamza. I think moving forwards, that's probably everyone's talking about him. I think the UFC came out and said they offered him Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy wants Edwards. Edwards doesn't want Wonder Boy, but Magny come out and said, no, I'll take on Hamza. Give me
That's the
him, which
perfect
I think is a
fight.
good test too.
That's the perfect
Yeah,
fucking
I think
fight.
it is.
When you think
Yeah, Sean Shelby, if you're
stylistically,
watching.
it makes sense stylistically. Yeah, Sean Shelby, listen up. Stylistically, I think honestly it really makes sense in the department of well-roundedness in a balanced fighter versus somebody who's so far has been a specialist, but then his last fight with that instant fucking knockout really just showed that dude is legit. But at the same time, like Neil Magny is top notch. He's top 10 always consistently. Like regardless, even if he goes outside of the rank, you put him against 90% of the fighters, he's gonna outwork him. He's gonna outpace him. He's gonna have more skill set in general. He may not have the power. He may not have the aggression that some of the fighters have. But I swear, man, Neil Magny is one of those dudes who will outwork you. He reminds me of a Michael Bisping in that sense. Michael Bisping used to just be that guy who would just constant aggression, man, just be throwing strikes just at you the whole fucking fight. It's not until later in his career did he really start finishing more people. I mean, he had obviously finishes, but like not the exciting fights that he had until later in the career. I think that like Magny has potential to do it. If he beats somebody like Chimaev, that's definitely gonna move him up the rank. But if Chimaev wins that fight, man, I'm telling you, dude, you give him one more fucking fight that's in the top 10, top 15, give that boy a title shot. He might be one of those
Yeah,
weird type of fucking random cats out there who's really just exceptionally naturally good, or his record
yeah.
exceeds his skill set.
I think he's good. I just want to, like you say, I just want to see him tested, come back from adversity, and Magny, I think's that Magny's durable. We've seen him, like you say, that Lombard fight. He's copped a beating. He's come back from it. I don't know that he's been knocked out before, has he? He wouldn't have.
Yeah,
If he has,
no,
it
I
wouldn't have
think he
been.
he was by was it Alex Cowboy? I think Cowboy
Oh, Cowboy, yeah.
Oliveira.
Yeah, the dark horse, yeah, Oliveira,
Yeah, I
yeah,
believe he
yeah,
finished
yep.
him.
Nah, but see, Oliveira's man, he's one that's just a dark horse too, and is as I think he's as good as anyone. But yeah, like Magny's, he's tough, he's durable. He wouldn't have been finished all that many times. He can go 5 rounds, and that fight's obviously going to be a main. It'll be a main event fight, so
Yeah,
it'll be 5 rounds. That's the fight
I
I
dude,
think.
I,
And then give Woodley
I was
Edwards.
just gonna
I
say,
don't
dude,
know why
like
they
that's
aren't.
the I was literally I swear to God I was gonna say that. There's the only other fight to make when you leave this equation that's opened up. Other than honestly, you do kind of leave Wonder Boy out in a way, but he still got there's fights to make at welterweight for him, honestly. But that's the fight to make when you're talking about moving towards title fights because you've got Masvidal and Kobe potentially. You've got a few people who might move up that ladder to be a title fight, but Usman versus Gilbert isn't very exciting to me, honestly. It just isn't. Burns is he's a good fighter. He's really good, but like doesn't make me excited. That's one of those fights that needs to have like 2 or 3 title fights on there. Because honestly, like I'm not ordering that motherfucker. I don't care what it is. I'm not excited for that fight.
I was impressed with Burns versus Woodley.
Oh yeah, no.
I
I mean,
thought,
as much as I was impressed with Kobe versus Robbie Lawler, but I wasn't excited to go pay for Usman versus Kobe. But that turned out being an amazing fucking fight. So I could eat my words, and I gladly admit on the next podcast when they fight that I'll eat my fucking words. But at the same time, I'll do one of those crazy dabs that I died on fucking CLTV's live last night from. But at the same time, man, like stylistically, kind of, I feel like it's gonna be who slightly edges the other type of fight. There's other fights in the division that I think that are gonna be more exciting over time, but you've got these like number 15 to number 8, number 5 type of fights that I think they need to work these out so that way we've got some contenders to discuss. Because right now you've got Masvidal who just lost to Usman in not a very convincing way in my opinion. Like yeah, he lost by decision, but not because of the fact that he came in late and that Usman kind of just dry fucked him and foot stomped him most of the fight.
yeah, but it was a one-sided fight. I know exactly where
Totally
you're coming from.
one-sided. But at the same time, I'm just like, let's see him on a better camp. Let's see a full camp fight. Let's see how that goes. But it's not convincing enough to be. That's the obvious fight to make. The little blue light popped off. That's not the obvious like fight to make. I think that it's. Let's get some more matches going. Let's see Kobe and Jorge. Let's see fucking Edwards and Woodley, even though I think Woodley should retire at this point. He's lost all drive in his heart to do the shit. He should just be kind of rapping, I guess, in on TMZ. And then let's see Chimaev get that real test. And I think Damian Maia should just ride out on the wind. I don't think Damian Maia should be in this conversation anymore. I really don't.
Give Damien Maia someone further down the list and a send-off fight. Don't throw him to the wolves and give him Chimaev. And I think the UFC's almost looked past that now.
Yeah, they really should because he's a vet and he deserves more respect than to have him fight against somebody who's going to build their name off of his name potentially.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's. Yeah. I was going to say if Masvidal was going to fight Colby though, which I think is going to happen, where does that leave Diaz?
That leaves Diaz complaining about wanting more money and then should be fighting McGregor. I've been wanting to see that third fight forever. Now, if McGregor and Poirier fight, because Dana White doesn't like kids at all, obviously, so he'd rather have them not do a charity exhibition fight and rather have them fight in the UFC. If that happens, I'll be happy. I think that's a good fight. But honestly, McGregor's at the point in his career where I'd rather have him not in a title fight, not in a title fight contention, but in entertaining super fights. Like the Pacquiao fight, I wasn't mad when I heard about a Pacquiao fight. I'm like, fuck it, man. Like, it's entertaining. This is entertainment. Sports at any level is entertainment. I don't give a fuck what argument you have to say. This isn't life. It's not politics. It's not nothing. Sports is entertainment. So when a certain fighter gets to that level in their career where, like, yeah, he could probably contend for the title. I heard that Khabib turned down the Ultimate Fighter. They were going to have Conor and Khabib as Ultimate Fighter coaches, but then Conor leaked all those emails or those direct messages out. I don't know if you saw about that.
Yeah,
and then so Khabib was like, "Yeah, eat a dick, not happening." So that I understand in a way, but I feel like Khabib's acting like a little bitch. Like, come on, man. Who the fuck else? Like,
yeah.
I want to see him and Ferguson fight no matter what, because styles make fights. Ferguson may have lost to Justin. I'm personally the only person I know who thinks Justin's gonna fuck Khabib up. I think he's gonna stop the takedowns. I think Khabib's gonna be ballsy on the feet and thinks he can strike, and I think he's gonna get pieced the fuck up. I truly do.
Yeah, I don't.
I know, and nobody else does. I'm the only person. So mark your fucking calendar to when you hear this that Rob from CLTV said, so I think Justin is gonna stop him with his takedown defense. Amazing grappling, and I think he's gonna be able to outstrike him. We'll see, but
I think
McGregor.
I think he's got the chance to, but I don't know. I don't see anyone not getting taken down by Khabib. And,
Khabib
just wrestle fucking them and doing what Khabib does. Hey, but if anyone's going to do it, Gaethje's probably got the takedown defense. Even, man, I love Gaethje's leg kick.
Oh, dude.
From in close, he just throws it from, and he does it from almost in the clinch, man. So, Yeah, I think looking forward, going forwards, that's one that
Yeah.
it's not all that far
Yeah,
away.
that
That
one's
fight, I
definitely
suppose.
gonna
So
be a fight companion one. I didn't realize we can go live on the YouTube channel with that. We can. I just had to
yeah,
put my phone number in so that way
it
they
did.
could
It did.
verify me. So we're
Oh, well, there you
legit
go.
now.
So it did work then.
Too legit to quit. Too legit to quit. So then we got another card coming up here. Did you see? I don't know if you saw. Let's quick mention that. Daly rushed to the hospital.
Yeah, I was half looking
So
forward to
was
that
I.
Daly
So
versus
was I.
Anderson. But then Daly's out of the fight, so
Yeah.
that's probably the only fight on not like that, but that was
CBS
probably the best
Sports
fight
though.
on
What the
that card
fuck
too.
channel is CBS Sports? In the US, I have no fucking clue because I don't have basic cable. I have streaming everything.
Isn't it on Paramount?
No, now they said it's gonna be the
Any?
first fight on CBS Sports. What the
Uh,
fuck is CBS
because they're
Sports?
over. I think they're over in Italy for them, aren't they?
Probably Viacom owns everything, so just play it on a Viacom owned thing. I don't know. CBS Sports.
Yeah.
Disappointing
Yeah.
though, man.
Well.
That I was really looking forward to that. Clearly good buzz. And then so we got
Yeah. No, I thought.
go for it. Go for it.
Oh no, I thought that was going to be a good fight too. I always Daly, as much as he's Daly, you always kind of fairly
I
exciting
was just
fights.
gonna say now we
At
got
least you know
Daly who would have brought an entertaining fight out, but I honestly don't know a whole lot about Anderson that I would have had much comment if this fight would have been happening.
he's not too bad, Anderson. I don't know a hell of a lot about him, but I've seen he's fought some good guys. I think he's fought one of the buddy Patricky or Pitbull, one of the two
The
brothers. I don't
Pitbull
know which
brothers.
one it
The
is.
Pitbull brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, I know he's fought one of them, and then I'm trying to think. I remember just having a look. I think he's a couple of other tough fights he's had too, against fairly high named, not like that, but people would recognise named opponents or whatever. So he's obviously pretty tough. Oh, MVP, that's
Yeah,
the one.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
He's fought against MVP. So obviously he's got some ability.
Yeah, well, and I think
But
Daly.
I'm the same man. I don't know a lot about
Well, if
him.
he pulls the trigger, Daly's a beast. But a lot of times he just sits on it. He pulls the Lawler and just waits and holds it for after the fight to punch a locker in the back. I don't know. Daly
Yeah.
pisses me the fuck off. I've told a lot of people to check out fights, and he's the one fighting, and then it sucks, and I'm like, God damn it. I told everybody Daly, Semtex. His name's Semtex for a reason. He's a badass. And then I'm just look like a fucking jackass. Like, God damn it, Daly. Get your mind right. Go see Tony Robbins, man.
Oh, he's been in some exciting fights.
Oh,
that fight with him
absolutely, dude. That's why I said it.
Nick?
Against Nick Diaz, against fucking
Yeah,
Cyborg. I
yeah.
mean, he's had some fucking great fights. Don't get me wrong. That's why I tell people to check him out. But when he lets me down, I'm pissed.
Yeah. Nah, well, he's not going to be fighting anyway, so we don't have to worry about that, do we?
So moving on, we got fucking Holly Holm versus Aldana. I think Aldana's about to work, or I think she's gonna take her down and submit her.
Yeah, well, I think that can go either way, but I'm in the same boat too. I think Aldana's the one that's probably on the way up.
Well, Holly Holm just has
Holly
that
Holmes-
1-2 head kick, 1-2 head kick, and she screams the whole time. She kiops, as the Taekwondo instructors would say.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, come on, man. Everybody sees it. Like, against Rousey, it was different because Rousey was so aggressive that she went from, like, muscle memory and just fighting. You know what I'm saying? But, like, even against that Betch Carrera, I always said, me and my girl always said, that Betch? Like, Betch Carrera. That's her name, is Betch. She was more aggressive, but not really. It was only once Betch was aggressive that it became the thing. And she's just so, like, in a sense, man, I really don't like Winklejohn and even Greg Jackson because they're very like, just win. Doesn't matter. Win the fight. We don't care. Win. Clinch her, hold her, dry fuck, win. It's like, what? Let's have entertaining fights because Holm has the striking to be an amazing elite MMA fighter. I mean, instead she's like a hit or miss. Win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. And her highlight's always going to be Ronda Rousey. But, you know, me being a boxing fan, I've seen her for years and she was always an elite striker. But, like, doesn't have those combinations, doesn't use her hooks. I haven't seen any fucking hooks. Doesn't have any of the, like, unorthodox striking that I saw in boxing, and even in kickboxing over here in MMA.
I think the same thing too. I don't think she's really crossed over into, but I think that's where the takedowns had her worried, and that's where I think this fight too, we're just going to see, our mad is, how do you, what is it? Aldana's going to take her down, get the win, and and I think if she wins that, she's probably next in line, or I don't know, the Duranda Main Penna fight also on
Yeah,
that
I
card.
mean, like, you got to think, man. Nunes is probably gonna take some time off having a baby, so I get it. She got a
Yeah,
baby, but she's
and
gonna want to fight,
she's
and
still.
she's all about, you know, solidifying that greatest of all time era. And I think she could retire and easily be there. There's no argument to be had, but she still wants to fight, and I get it. But there's nobody I
But see, the thing
see.
there is, I think. Well, the thing is, I would have thought if she didn't have the fight lined up with Megan Anderson at the
Forgot about that.
45
Forgot
belt.
about that. My
That's what
head
I
is all
mean. Yeah,
extra
yeah.
hood and
So
shit.
she's got to drop back down to defend this title. So she's still got the Megan fight in front of her. So really going forward, I just think the two winners of this fight will probably these two fights, like Duranda Main and Penna and Holman Aldana. Those two winners will fight for the next shot at the one because, like you say, she's still that's the 135 belt. So she's still got to drop back down to
Yeah.
to yeah, so I just think that they're still a little bit away from that, so it probably lines up for the two winners to fight.
Well, how
And
I look at it is, I
you know,
remember years ago, I can't remember who the fuck it was, but I remember it was like Machida and Bader, and it was somebody else and somebody else. And Machida and Bader's fight, obviously Machida knocked Bader the fuck out, and he ended up getting the title shot based on being more entertaining. And so I think this is the same scenario. If Aldana comes in and she has a dominant victory, title shot obviously because she's a fresh face. But when you look at anybody else, they've all already fought Nunes and got
that's
worked. Other than Jermaine had more of a close fight, but once it went to the ground, it was like this isn't even competition. On the feet, she was doing a lot better than Nunes. She made Nunes look like an amateur striker. She really did.
but that was. I think Nunes it's like Adesanya. I think Nunes has improved since then too. Like I think she's a better fighter since then as well. So I just see the rematch going down. You know, not on a similar fashion, but the result going down a similar way. Like I just don't see anyone really beating Nunes
Well, you look at Nunes,
at
like I'd have to say I wouldn't even say there's an argument. She's the greatest female fighter in MMA history.
period.
I mean, really,
Yeah,
period. And you
yeah.
look at the sense that, like, she doesn't have a whole lot left to prove. So, win, lose, or draw in her next fight, she's still, I mean, there's not much of a Mount Rushmore in America. We got Mount Rushmore for the American presidents and people, whatever. It's whatever. People like it. So, same thing in MMA. It's not really a whole lot in women's MMA. You've got Ronda Rousey, yeah. I guess you could put Cyborg there, maybe, because now she's in Bellator. She's like a whole different wing, maybe. But Nunes is like one of the only ones for sure. Is Nunes and Rousey, but like she could honestly retire, and I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad.
Nah, nah, she's got nothing left to prove, and that's the thing. And that's why just when it comes to defending that 135 title, I don't think she's. I think she's got more important things to worry about at the minute. To be honest with you, defend the 140. That's the 35. I think, isn't it? Defend the
Yeah,
45 against Anderson, and then
35.
worry
If she
about what's
wants
after
to at
then.
35, I think retire after that fight. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, I just for me, I don't know that there's not similar thing to the lighter weight division to the 125 in the blokes, I suppose, is the top 3 or 4 are thereabouts, but there's just not a hell of a lot of depth
Yeah, I
in the women's
completely agree,
divisions in
man.
general. Like,
And I
yeah.
think again,
But one fight on that card, I think it's on the prelims, is Condent Court McGee.
that's on the fucking prelims.
I think so. I might be
You
wrong,
might
but
be
I
high
reckon it's the
too. Holy shit. If that's on the
yeah,
prelims, it's
yeah.
only because Conda has been looking so lately, but like, whoa. I remember, like, dude, like
Well, I
5
suppose they're
years ago,
both aging a little.
maybe 10 years ago now.
I think it might be the prelim main event or whatever it is, like the
That makes
yeah.
sense. That
So
makes sense. Dude, that fight a couple years ago would have been a fucking banger. Not even a couple, maybe
oh,
10 years
even
ago. But
now,
right now, no, especially in their career, dude. That's all. I wish Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard would make only matchups of vets versus vets. Why have an OG
yeah,
versus a young up and comer? And I get because you want that name to be good and you want to build the name on there, but like, come on, man. For us real MMA fans, that's fucked up. It's like leading the sheep out to be killed. Like we don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. What you doing?
yeah.
Like I'm even concerned
Nah,
about
that's
Mike Perry and Robbie Lawler. I'm even concerned about that. Where I'm like, come on, man, what the fuck you doing? Like, why not give Robbie
yeah,
Lawler
especially
another
the way
vet?
Robbie's.
Like,
Well, the way Robbie's looked his last few too, he's just not pulling the trigger.
Well,
He's,
like
yeah, I
the
don't
nice thing
know.
is though is Mike Perry is a little it's such a comparable matchup in the styles of McGee and Condit is the aspect of OG vets who at one point, I wouldn't say OG vets in Perry's aspect, but at one point we're like, hey, these dudes are going to be up and comers. Like McGee, I thought was going to be one of those guys. He was very well balanced. I mean, well rounded in every aspect. He was very good, super strong with the aggression, but kind of just started teetering off, getting picked apart and getting worked. Condit, comparable thing, but injuries here and there. And then that leg kick from Woodley was suspect. I feel like he had an injury already, but I mean, he was hurt immediately after the leg kick. And he's been hit or miss. I remember from the WEC days, he was one of my favorite dudes back then. But
He's always,
yeah,
he's another one that's
natural born
always
killer,
been
man. Like,
exciting. Yeah,
I honestly I would have rather seen him versus like Cowboy, personally.
yeah.
And then Nico
Well,
Price versus
I don't know.
McGee even. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Even Cowboy too. I don't know. Cowboy, Diego, Woodley. I think some of them.
time to hang
That's
him
nothing
up,
against
Dad.
them. It's time to have a look. I don't, and I don't mean it in a negative way, but me personally, I don't want to. Tyrone's been one of the greatest. All right, he was a Strikeforce champion, a UFC champion. He's been,
Yeah, he
one
finished
of the
Robbie
best.
fucking
And
Lawler, man. Like, finished
yeah,
Darren Till.
yeah,
Beat fucking
yeah. No,
Wonderboy
exactly right.
twice.
I don't want
Or
to.
draw
Well, the
and
thing is, I don't want to
yeah.
when he retires. I don't want to remember him as losing his last five, not even winning a round out of his last 15, and go out like Ricardo Lamos. Some more people need to go out like him. Go out on a high, you know.
Fucking George St. Pierre,
But
perfect.
then,
That's why I'm saying Amanda Nunes needs to go out on
yeah,
top, man. George St. Pierre is gonna be. I don't give a fuck. You look at him, and even John Jones. If Jones decides not to move to heavyweight, you can always argue it that these guys are the best ever. And yeah, they had that fight before. You got Johnny Hendricks and GSP. Yeah, argument doesn't matter. GSP won the goddamn fight. John Jones versus Reyes. Jones won the fucking fight. I don't care what anybody has to say. On record, they won the fight. So to go out like that, that's the way you do it, man. You don't go out like Michael Bisping
yeah.
and push it and get knocked the fuck out at 6 o'clock in the morning in fucking Vietnam or
But
whatever.
but but even then, like I'm not Bisping. He got knocked out that fight, and knew it was time to fucking. He didn't go out try and win another one, try and win another one, try and win another. Lawler's Woodley's lost his last three now. Hadn't won a round. Hadn't looked
Yeah, it looks
competitive, to be perfectly
sleepy.
honest with you.
Sleepy
Yeah.
Tyquil.
Cowboy was lucky that he got poked in the eye. Not like that, but the poke in the eye draw. That's the only reason that was a draw. Otherwise, he lost that fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he lost four prior to that too. And then Diego now, yeah, he had a win, I think, prior to, he'd had a couple of wins recently. But even now, it's times, he lost like that. And it was a pretty, one-sided kind of fight. Sometimes just do it before it's too late. Go out after a loss, that's fine. Go out after two.
I agree.
But don't 4 or 5.
Go out like Chuck.
And that's where, yeah,
Like
yeah,
fucking
no, and
BJ Penn, man. Like a lot of these OGs that like they're almost embarrassments now because of how they went out. And they're like vets, but the hardcores were like, this motherfucker in his prime was the best. But it's like, you stuck around too long, man. You stuck around too long. And
that's the thing. BJ's a perfect example, man. BJ at his best was an elite. Pound for pound, one of the greatest. Two-time. Held two belts in two different divisions. And you look at the way he finished. Finished his career. If it's even finished, that's not how you want to remember these kind
no,
of blokes. I just retire. Why you still? And that's the problem I think too. Some of them need to. There's more than you know what it's like, man. There's more to life than certain things. Sometimes you got to broaden your horizons. Do a Jake Matthews. Go to
yeah,
the army.
learn some shit, man.
Find
Become
other avenues. Yeah,
well. You see a lot of
other
fighters
avenues
who
after
are
fighting.
commentators now. Even like there's a lot more avenue in that. If you can talk and you don't got CT issues and you're more of an intelligent person, you could still succeed in mixed martial arts. You could be a coach. You could be a commentator. You could be a personality in general. Like Forrest Griffin's just a fucking
Yeah.
personality. Like, and he's been hit a million fucking times. I just feel like you need to
Right.
see the other avenues of using your brand. Sean O'Malley's a great example. That fucking kid is promoting all sorts of
Yeah.
shit on a regular basis. He's got 1 million followers on Instagram, doing Twitch, and all this different shit. He's using his brand for recognition. He's able to sell mad apparel. Like, you do things like that, you can have a brand outside of this. The Diaz brothers, for example, they don't need to fight. They like to be competitive. They like, martial arts.
use the platform you have to create other avenues. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, everyone's kind of done something, and that's all kind of all you care about at the time or whatever. But you've got to broaden your horizons, man. Fighting certain careers only last certain time in certain things, and you can't fight forever.
Exactly.
Make sure you got something to do once it's over.
Well, speaking of forever, man, we could talk for fucking ever about this. It's been an hour and some odd minutes here. Obviously, a couple fuck ups because we are stoned. This is Blunts and Bruises, obviously, episode 2. Appreciate everybody who's listened, everybody who's watched, everybody who's tuned in, the subscribers, people from Cannabis Lifestyle TV, 420 Growers Club, anybody who's just tuning in now, the MMA fans who are rolling up and enjoying this with us. And we're going to be seeing you guys next week. Hopefully doing a lot more of this. Going to be having some more like micro clips and some kind of entertaining shit over on YouTube, so make sure you check that out. Hit up CannabisLifestyleTV.com to see original content like this. And we'll see you guys next week. For Rob and Tyson, stay lifted, y'all.